Hello and welcome back to Aspiring Creator. Sorry, I was just turning the volume up on my mic there. Hello, welcome back to Aspiring Creator, where we talk about all the inner workings of YouTube content creation-y business, I guess, kind of thing. And I generally just write down a list of things that have happened since last time we caught up, and I ramble about them for half an hour or so. So we're just going to run through the list today. Lots of stuff has happened, and lots of similar things we've touched on before. But we're going to start off with turning a 10 of 10 into a 1 of 10. So if you remember from, previous versions we've talked about here, we are struggling with it a little bit with views on YouTube right now and views in general. It's funny, I've had so many discussions with people about this and everyone's going through the same thing. From channels that have millions and millions, 5 million plus subscribers, like productivity channels, through to channels that are my similar size or even smaller that are just struggling to get views. And I'm not going to go into the details of why, because there's no basically real confirmed reason as why. It's just a mixture of a lot of things, I believe, I understand. But what we did do, so we posted, or rather, one of the content types that seems to perform well for us at the moment, at least, this is very unique to us. I don't think other channels have this, is like the networking-y, IT, techie kind of stuff, but without getting too technical. And this, I think, stems from when we started the channel. So I used to run an IT company. It was like an IT support business. And so a lot of the original subscribers of the channel were IT people or people interested in IT. And so off the back of that, obviously we created a load of IT related videos and Ubiquiti and networking and Wi-Fi and password managers and cloud storage and SSDs and those kind of things. Those videos have generally performed quite well for us over the years. And whilst recently some of the the mobile phone type videos haven't performed as well as usual, and some of the other videos haven't really performed, the techie stuff has. And so we posted a video about how to how I was upgraded to the fastest broadband available in the UK. Turns out it wasn't the fastest in the UK because people came out and told me in the comments that theirs was faster. So lesson learned. But what we did do is do a follow-up, which was meant to be, the idea was a Ubiquiti buyer's guide. So Ubiquiti is a big, widely known networking brand. And so we were going to make a buyer's guide video because buyer's guide, again, is another kind of content type that performs well for us. So we're going to merge the two together, buying guide, techie stuff, smush it together, and hopefully we get a high-performing video. Also speaking recently to Darius Tech, who often listens to this, I think. So, hey, Darius. Chatting about how to target videos. And there's, with YouTube, broadly speaking, you've got two different kind of things you're targeting. You're either going for browse traffic, which is the stuff where you're not looking for it, you're just kind of browsing YouTube. You go I must watch that. I've got to watch that. That's browse stuff. And then you've got the search-based stuff when you're actually searching for product reviews or, specific things that you want to do, or how-tos. And broadly speaking, we've always been in the browse category because our views have always come from browse. And if you go into your YouTube statistics, it will tell you on the audience or maybe the engagement tab in your YouTube analytics, it will tell you that your views are from the browse, homepage, or it'll be from search traffic. And then you can actually click into that and see which search terms that you're ranking for as well. So we are mostly browse, and Darius is mostly search. And it's just mind-blowing to see how well Darius's channel is performing at the moment. And so we lent more heavily on a search-based title for this particular video we posted. We've changed it since, which I'll explain in a minute, but we posted it as Ubiquiti buyer's guides, Wi-Fi switches, routers, something like that. And so we posted it, and it just tanked. And within a few hours, I watched it because I think Matt, my team, posted it here because I was probably not in, or the weekend, or I think I was traveling at the time. And I saw it, and I just changed it as soon as I saw it, and I just went for this content type that I've seen before has performed well. It's this whole looking for outliers that perform well for other people. There was a accountant explained, or investment banker explains, and I just thought, I wonder if IT expert explains would perform well. So I named it to IT Expert Explains, Building the Ultimate Home Network. So again, completely going away from, SEO, leaning into Ubiquiti, home, Wi-Fi, network, something. It was just building the ultimate home network, which to me appeals to a wide audience because a lot of people are probably wondering why their home Wi-Fi is slow, or home network might be slow, or could be better, or doesn't reach as far as it needs to. So that feel like it encapsulates a lot. And so we did that, and slowly over the following 24 to 48 hours, it kind of pulled itself up from a 10 out of 10 to a 1 out of 10, and it's kind of hovering between a 2 and a 1 out of 10, mostly because we posted one of our last 10 videos is a Galaxy S26 Ultra launch video, which we did, which is currently on 177,000 views. So that's like hugely taken off. So I'm not sure we're going to overtake that, but it is still doing very well. So here, and we've played around with the thumbnail a few times as well, but I would definitely say like you can, when you first post that video, you can have an impact on like its outcome to a certain extent. Obviously, you can't change the posted video, although you can edit out sections. But you can change the packaging. You can change the title, the thumbnail. And in this occasion, we didn't change the thumbnail. We just changed the title. It had that impact. And then we've changed the thumbnail again since, just to see what happens. It hasn't had a huge impact. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. On the other hand, being careful about this now is that we posted a sponsored video on the channel, and this is like it's a lesson learned. It's one of those like lesson relearned, because I know the lesson. I have learned the lesson many times before, and yet we've still fallen into the trap. But this is just like an unfortunate set of circumstances. So we had a video confirmed with a brand, and it was confirmed at the beginning of this year. And we were excited to review it because it was like an interesting product category for us. It's, a product type that's performed well on the channel before. And so we signed up and said, look, yep, cool, let's do the video, let's review it, let's do what we can do. And then they didn't rush us, but they wanted the video out as soon as possible. So we moved our schedule around to accommodate and do that video as soon as possible. It turns out, like, we've just posted the video and it's May, and we were expecting it to be like January or February. So it got delayed, it got shipped to us, and then it got lost somewhere. And I think what basically happened is that it was so early in its like software that I believe, delayed it before it got to us. So it got to us. We started testing. We ran into a few problems, so we went back and forth trying to fix a lot of problems with them. And essentially, what the video turned into is a showcase, because and again, this is like just reinforcing the fact of, in your contracts, you should retain as much creative control as possible. And I know when you're doing like sponsored dedicating content, it's an issue sometimes, because obviously it is a sponsored dedicated video. So there are certain things, and you have to abide by certain laws. And in this particular case, we weren't allowed to compare it to anything. We weren't really allowed to really test or do much, and so in my eyes that just changed it to, it's just going to be a showcase. It's not a review, it's just a showcase. Here is the product, here's what it does. They also asked for like sound demonstrations in the video, and my opinion, I don't know if this is right or not, but rightly or wrongly, on YouTube, sound demonstrations are kind of pointless, because like you can't tell what the sound sounds like, because I'm recording it into, first of all, the sound's coming out of the thing, then it's going into a microphone, and then that microphone's going into an audio recorder. That audio recorder is going into the editing software that gets all sorts of things done to it. And then the video gets exported, which involves compression and normalization and all sorts of things. Then you upload it to YouTube. YouTube does its own wild whatever it does for compressing and audio and optimization and everything. And so by the time it actually comes out to your ears, it is nothing like it sounds in reality. And so therefore, to my eyes or to my ears, sound demonstrations are completely pointless. And so the brands kind of doubled down and said, we want more of them. We want you to like show it and demonstrate it. And so part of the video turned into sound demonstrations. And then just the comments that have come out of this. So first of all, it's a 10 out of 10 video that has not performed very well. One of many reasons why it didn't perform very well, is they also controlled the title. They wanted us to include 2 very, very long phrases in the title, which we have done, and it's just killed the video. It basically took away all creative forms of control over the video. And so what you might actually do is, in maybe a few weeks or months' time, redo that video, but our way, just to kind of not prove the point, because it's a good video and it's a good sound system. It just needs to be shown the correct way. We just weren't. And this is the frustrating thing, is like, as the creator, as the reviewer, as the like, I have my most of my integrity, maybe not as much anymore from that particular video, but like I have my integrity, and I want to like show off the product to the best of our ability, and from my opinion, and showing how I feel it compares to various things and giving people like real consumer buying advice. You can't do that with some of these videos. And so it basically, it is tanked. And the comments on that video, it's really frustrating to see, but it kind of just reinforced yeah, no, you're absolutely bang on here. Basically, someone saying like, we literally just basically read out the spec sheet. Why did you bother doing sound demonstrations? It's completely pointless. Why didn't you talk about like comparisons to other things? And it's just like, this is exactly why we shouldn't do sponsored videos. And so that's where I put my mind. And now again, we've got it again in the back of my mind that if and when we do this again, we're going to be very, very blunt with the brands and just be like, look, here is a video that we had creative control over that has performed well and got positive comments. Here is a video we had zero creative control over that has performed horribly, and look at the comments. I've actually left the comments there for a reason, so we can show brands, what happens if we do it kind of their way. And I know there are reasons for certain things. When you're doing sponsored content, they're very careful about copyright and intellectual property. So we didn't show, we didn't. It's going to give away basically, but we didn't show any like copyrighted content in the video. Nothing apart from some licensed music which we bought for it. But we didn't show any copyrighted content, and so the comments again were like, why didn't you show anything like we actually like do watch and use and things? And so like, again, like it's just one of those things. So we're going to leave it there. We're going to leave the comments there and show them, look, this is the before and after, essentially. This is what happens with creative control. This is what happens without creative control. And also, hopefully, this is the follow-up we then did with our full creative control and show how that performed. So it's one of those things. It's a lesson learned for us on the channel. Again, that will have a negative impact on the channel because brands will see that and go like, your videos don't perform that well anymore. Now, what I did notice is that other people have done the exact same thing. Basically made the exact same video and named it the exact same way, and they've obviously boosted and paid to boost their views. So to all intents and purposes, their videos look like they have views. Some of them even have a lot of comments. I wonder if some of these creators are waking up to buying comments and likes and things on their videos just to make it less obvious. But yeah, it's just one of those things. So again, lesson learned. Other things that have come through the inbox this week. This is an interesting one that's developing. So I might be going to China to shoot a video for a company out there, and it's a really old one. So the original request was that we were going to go out there, read their scripts, and they would film, they would script, shoot, and edit the video and post it on their channel. And so that video has now changed into the recent request has now come through it being posted on my channel as well, at which point, again, taking into account what's just happened, taking into account that, we push back very, very heavily and said, look, no, we are not going to do that. We're not going to post it on our channel. What we will entertain is me doing it as a collaboration post. So it's the brand that posts it, but in collaboration with me. Now, it does appear on my home feed. And again, other concerns I had here is that then exonerates me and my channel and my analytics and my data from any form of boosted traffic. So that if that brand chooses to boost their video, then that is up to them. And if they do, all that does is impact their channel. It doesn't impact my channel, which is another issue when you do paid boosted traffic on your channel, is it kind of kills the video because YouTube doesn't really know what to do with it because it's just had an influx of people, paid people watching and then not really watching because they only stay around for like 5 seconds to register as a view and then they drop off because they're botted views essentially. So yeah, that's an interesting one that's come through. Not sure how that's going to turn out. We're going to see what that evolves into, but that was an interesting one. But literally the fact that the brand is willing to pay to fly me out there, hotels, shoot the video, fly me back again, and pay me to do that as well is quite a wild thing, all the way to China for that kind of thing. Now, something I did find interesting. So when I was on trip to, it was a Dubai trip with Huawei, and it was for a foldable launch a couple of years back or what have you. And I was really confused. So we flew out there. They gave us a foldable phone that you couldn't even buy outside of China. And I was just kind of there going like, well, I can't really make a video on this because A, it's a foldable phone, which people aren't or weren't at the time interested in. And B, you can't buy it outside of China. And therefore no one on my channel is going to watch it. And when I asked them about like, what's the point in flying a load of like Western influencer content creators out to do this when you can't buy it in outside of China, their response was basically, look, the Chinese people just love when Westerners like review their products and feature it and show it. So maybe that's a reason why they want to fly me out there to talk in front of a camera. Interesting. Next up, and I don't have a huge amount of time, so I'm going to blitz through this list here. I feel like we're getting to the stage where, just like in previous weeks, I've slowly, and I'm still developing it very slowly, like we're getting to the stage where AI tools like Claude and Claude Code and Claude Design, all that kind of stuff, I feel like it's going to kill off the SaaS industry. And obviously that's like, just maybe blowing up bigger than it is. For most people, generalists, people that haven't really got stuck into AI, which is most people in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to change much. But there is going to be a vast majority of people, particularly in B2B stuff, I feel as well, in that people that are using Claude to design their own systems, it's just going to replace the SaaS software they're using. Case in point, like I've built a number of tools now that now almost completely replace the systems we're using. So I have built, for those that haven't been following, he's going to refresh the dashboard and have a look. I've built a brand tracker. Oh, wow, the lights have all gone off because it's that time of the day. Let me switch it back on again. So I built a brand tracker that basically just keeps an eye on the brands we're messaging and reminds me to do a follow-up and that kind of stuff. I've built a project management that replaces Monday.com. I've built an affiliate dashboard that replaces Affiliate, which is another monthly thing I spend money on. And we've also got a content strategy thing I've created as well, which analyzes YouTube channels, finds outlier ideas, and makes recommendations for me based on my data and all sorts as well. Doesn't work very well, otherwise our videos would be performing a lot better. But just the fact I've replaced Monday.com and I've replaced Affiliate with essentially free tools that I just coded in a week is just fascinating to me. And I saw a post on LinkedIn where it was some random company that basically said, we've just hired like a junior guy and he has done more months in a week of him being here than someone would do in 3 months of working there. And basically all the guy did was build a completely new CRM system for that company, bespoke for them, exactly what they wanted, exactly tracking the stuff they needed, and had it built. Now, I know there's a lot of risks and security concerns and all sorts, and they are very much valid. But again, this is the worst AI is ever going to be. It's only getting better from here. And the fact now in my Monday replacement dashboard thing, if I want to add a feature, I can add a feature there and then. I can test it, I can play with it, I can change how it works. If I want a feature on Monday.com, I have to go and go onto a board and add the idea and then upvote it and then hope the development team sees it and then maybe they'll add it in. I need like a bespoke YouTube / content creation system that ties into all the social platforms. Like at the moment, mine's pulling in data from YouTube once we posted the video, the views, the likes, the comments, and when it's posted on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts, like it can tag and know that I've posted it on those platforms, so I can quickly scan through and know that I've posted that video on all platforms. So there's just so much stuff it can do, and I just feel like it will be at the stage where SaaS companies like Monday, like Notion, like anything, email platforms, whatever it might be, are just going to find a point when it's actually just quicker for companies just create their own software. I actually saw, completely random tangent here, I actually saw someone use Claude to code Windows 12. They were just like, create Windows 12 and make no mistakes. And it just went away and created a whole in-browser desktop experience with full GUI, and it looks really polished and clean. Obviously, there's a lot more to it to build an operating system, but I just find that fascinating. Next on the list is a couple of things. There's always a thing in the back of my mind of maybe we should do that. Maybe we should try that. Maybe we should start this. And a couple of things that popped on my list are starting a second channel where we are not editing. It's just like a one-take publish. And again, a similar strategy to the short form videos we're doing at the moment, where shorts allow us to cover a lot more products and feature a lot more brands and work with a lot more brands and do sponsored shorts. But I feel like that, to a certain point, misses out a part of the audience, because actually, a lot of the time, it just needs a case of let's just sit down at a desk, products on the desk, let me just tell you about the products. There's no fancy B-roll, there's no fancy editing or scripting. It's just let's just sit down and give you a quick 5 minutes on this product. And maybe it's like there was a trend of content of like review of the latest, iPhone 17 review, but I respect your time, like that kind of stuff. But it's just a real simple sit down, post a video live almost, and see how that goes. So that's in the back of my mind. And then at the same time, I'm thinking like, do we do a podcast? Because when we do our like big reviews of like monitors, or we did the Android users forcing iPhone people to switch to Android, we got loads of comments and feedback and questions off the back of that, where actually having something like a podcast format would allow us time and space to explore and answer those comments and respond. Loads of people are like, whoa, you didn't do this. And actually, like, one of your guys isn't technical at all. And actually, he is very technical. He just, is approaching this as a traditional user kind of perspective. So there's another thing. Maybe we should do that. And this is like very much like, oh, I'm getting distracted by the new shiny toy again. What should we talk about? Again, there's the shorts versus longs approach, which is a question where, so we are currently in week 1 of just focusing on shorts. We're technically week 2 of shooting them, but week 1 of posting them. So we've got not enough data yet to know what we're doing. But at the end of next week, we will have consistently posted shorts across all 3 platforms for long enough to hopefully get some data to know like what kind of shorts perform well, whether, how they're shot, how they're edited, which platforms does which content perform better on. So we're going to hopefully get enough data from those 2 weeks of posting short form videos, so we know if we do shorts again, or not if, but we're like when we do shorts again, what should we concentrate on? And we are going to be sitting down in tomorrow, maybe the next few days, maybe the end of next week, to look at our Q3 publishing schedule, because it's rapidly approaching and brands are looking for Q3 budget spend. So we want to get on top of it and make sure we've got our video schedule kind of confirmed. And this is the whole, like, I was chatting about this earlier today, like this is the whole balancing act, because we're trying to balance creating high performing videos and finding a sponsor for that video. But to be able to do that, you kind of almost need like a month or two's worth of freedom to go and make those videos and have them perform well. But in the meantime, when you're trying to balance like a business and bringing money in, when you're trying to reach out and say like, hey, we're trying to find a sponsor for this video. Hey, we're not going to sponsor that video, but actually, could you do a dedicated video about this product instead? Now, most of the time we say no to a lot of them, but there are a few situations where it's a good thing, like the LG monitors. We do a lot of sponsored LG monitors because those perform well on channel. We have a format that with our dedicated reviews where we feel we can still make a good video, and it's not like ethically challenged at all. We can still review it, and basically we just test it and make sure it says it. We make sure it does what it says it can do, and there's no like opinions other than like, hey, this will be great for content creators or gamers or whatever it might be. So like you're trying to balance the two, right? Because you've got the dedicated videos that come in, which aren't going to perform as well as those hopeful, like, big banger videos you've got, but you need to find a sponsor for it. And so this whole balancing act. And actually I bumped into a guy called George, who does kind of gaming, productivity, lifestyle content. And he's taken like 2 months off just to do shorts, just kind of figure out what he wants to do in terms of his long form, because again, like views again are all over the place on YouTube right now. And I found that was quite inspiring to be able to take the time off to do that. He is just himself, whereas I have a team of people, which again makes this whole thing a lot harder, because you have to keep the wheel spinning, because you've got to pay people to be able to make the content, to be able to find sponsors and earn money to pay people to make content. And it just that, the wheel keeps spinning. But on a similar tax, like, it's quite disheartening to see your inbox all the time, where it's just the replies from brands a lot of the time are like, well, your views aren't where they could be, and so we only value your channel at like $1,000 or $500 for a short or for a long form video or a dedicated review, whatever it is. You see a lot of those, and it's fun sometimes negotiating, but it's just the vast contrast between the huge amount of brands that lowball you versus doing some big brand deals with brands that, $10, $20, $30,000 for like one dedicated video, or a few short form videos for, big tens of thousands of dollars or pounds for short form videos or long form videos. And so there's this, again, huge contrast of like, how can you be worth, 20, 30, 40 grand to this brand, but only $500 to this brand? And you have to like disconnect your feelings from it a lot of the time. But also, it does mean that a lot of the months you're running through, going like, oh shit, we haven't got much coming through. Like, what do we do? And then all of a sudden, you get like a good brand deal come through, and it's like, cool, okay, that's a great one. Like, they value us, we value them. We're going to spend a lot of time and make a great thing. Hopefully, they don't then put loads of pressure on you and restrictions of what you can and can't do, because you just want to do a good job for the brand and make it work for everyone involved, the viewer, you as a creator, and the brand as well. So there is that. But then on that note, again, getting to this, there was another creator I bumped into recently who said a brand approached him, and he's 300 to, I'm going to put in like the 300, 500,000 subscriber bucket of kind of YouTube content creators. And he had a brand approach him and said like, hey, we'll give you $100,000 if you can make 3 videos for us. And he's got a few different channels. So it was like 2 videos on channel 1 and 1 video on channel 2, all within the same month. And like, again, that kind of stuff just comes out of nowhere. In the meantime, you're trying to negotiate over 500, brands who want to spend $500 on something. So it's just a case of just sticking around. And it is this balance of like, no one really knows what's going on. Should you be spending time on creating premium, high quality, beautiful, buttery B-roll videos that don't perform well, but maybe brands will pay attention to it and, like it, and therefore want to spend money with you to create beautiful videos? Or do you focus on less production, more effort in the packaging and titling, and making like bigger video ideas that will perform better but maybe aren't shot as well? And it's that whole balancing act. And to that effect, I think I mentioned this in the last week's video, but I'll wrap up with this: is that in our like monitor videos, for example, is a key one. We spend a lot of time on our monitor videos. 2 weeks worth of testing and like putting up like colorimeters and like brightness tests and FPS performance with various gaming specs, PCs, and all sorts. We do all of this. I write down all my notes and test results. We script it all. We read the A roll and shoot the A roll. We shoot all the B roll. We get all the clips we need and like sliding jib shots and all sorts. But actually, we're going to look at doing our next set of monitor reviews, just like almost like the mic's clipped to me and the box turns up and like, cool, okay, let's unbox it. This is the so and so monitor. Oh, look, you get this cable, you get this cable, you get this cable. Let's set it up. Cool. Okay, now it's set up. Let's plug it in. Let's see what kind of the color looks like. Okay, yep, color looks great. It's not going too much more into the details because like we aren't a techie channel. We're like a techie channel that simplifies it for the consumers. And so there's that balance to find there. But we're going to be trying that with our monitor videos because that's like a tried and tested format that does work for the channel. But also, it would be good if that also worked for the channel without having to put half the amount of work into the shooting. And then it makes the edit process quicker. It makes just the whole process quicker. And then means we can churn out, not churn out more videos, but like spend more time on the other videos and like balance stuff out a bit more. So, I am going to leave it at that because that was a lot in not much time. And my dinner is ready and my wife's she wants me home in like 4 minutes. So thanks so much for watching. Do leave comments down below. If you want to ask any questions, please do by all means leave them on the YouTube video or DM me if you can, and I'll respond to them in the next video. So thanks so much. See you in the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.